Go ahead and get started with our practice. I'm just going to set my iPad off to the side here so I can continue to see what you see. All right. Well, as we begin with our practice today, let's initially just find a spot of comfort, somewhere where we can find a little bit of relaxation and some stillness. And whether that's a seated position or lying down position or child's pose, just find something to where you can find the most level of comfort that you can right now, okay? And as you find that comfort, if it's comfortable for you, close your eyes. Let's let those eyelids drape gently over those eyes and begin just breathing in and out and just starting to feel and hear your own breath as you inhale and exhale. As we continue with our practice this morning and just finding that stillness. The stillness is something that helps to create a little rest, a restful state on our body. But the theme for today is reaching into one of our yoga principles called Tapas, T-A-P-A-S. And what that translates into from Sanskrit is either heat or self-discipline. See, thousands of years ago, the yogis recognized that life, just like yoga on our mat, ebbs and flows through things that are simple to do and challenging to do. And so that's where tapas comes into play. Tapas is a recognition that we need some self-discipline, or we at least need to have the principle of self-discipline to endure things that are challenging. We are feeling some of those challenging moments as we live and breathe today. And we'll endure those things that are challenging. And so yoga's principle of tapas, or self-discipline, is just that recognition that in order to see things a little bit lighter, we have to recognize some darkness. In order to appreciate the finer things and the smoother things in life, sometimes we have to hit some hurdles or some potholes on the road. In order to be able to appreciate and find gratitude for the simpler things in life, we may have to endure some harder things in life. And so for any one of us who might be feeling a little bit drained, despite a lot of the perceived rest that we may be getting, or who might be feeling a little bit empty on the inside despite some of our physical activity, or feeling a little bit lonely despite having some people nearby. None of this is easy. None of this is easy. But we'll get through it, and we'll get through it together. And my hope is that when this is all said and done, and when the dust settles, that we'll recognize and realize how little we actually need, how very much we actually have, and the true value of human connection. And so however you feel right now and wherever you're at, allow yourself to find forgiveness of yourself for not dealing with wherever we're at and wherever you're at perfectly. Allow yourself to recognize that entering into grace during this time period is something that's challenging. So cut yourself some slack and allow yourself an opportunity for learning. And then give yourself patience to deal with what's going on, and give those around you patience as well. Because we're all in this journey together, and it's indeed one of those things that is a journey. And as a Japanese Buddhist philosopher once said, if you're feeling the lack of hope, if you feel that there is no hope, then now's the time that you create some. Now's the time that you create some. Because with the practice of tapas, with the practice of self-discipline, we will come out of this stronger. And strength does not come from winning all the time. Strength comes when we go through hardships and decide not to surrender. And that's where our strength is found. I'm going to turn my lights up and find my mat. We'll begin our physical practice today in downward facing dog. You can get there any way you want. I'll guide us through, initially starting in all fours, making sure we have some nice strong hands so that the center of our palms are lifting lightly off the mat. Get that Hasta Bandha going, that nice hand lock. And then we'll curl our toes and find high plank position. From high plank, make sure those shoulders are hovering right above those hands. Good, and a nice long body, creating that nice long line from the crown of our head through our shoulders, hips, knees, and our heels. From here, let's find downward dog. So lift our hips up toward the sky, bring those ears between those arms, and let those arches of our feet relax a little bit. Now the heels may not touch onto the ground, and that's fine. That's not really the purpose. Let's, to get a nice little stretch, let's begin just alternating the heels. Alternating the heels one at a time. Allowing one to sink in a little bit deeper as we lift one. Keeping those ears right between those arms nice and strong. A little soft bend between those elbows. And just think about the length of our spine from the crown of our head to our tailbone. And from here, let's engage in 3 Ujjayi breaths. Breathe in as deeply as you can through the nose or the mouth. And then exhale out of the mouth like you're fogging up a mirror, just like this. And then and do that 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. And 1 more time. Inhale and exhale. For just a moment, let's drop to our knees and find a child's pose. Hips to our heels. And with child's pose, just know that this is a restful state pose, and we can come to child's pose anytime throughout our practice. With our breath now, let's begin engaging in a 3-part deep inhale and exhale. So even tempo as we breathe in through the nose or mouth and fill those lungs as much as you can, and then lengthen that exhale as long as you can make it. And use that breath, that deliberate deep inhale and exhale, as the continued foundation for our breathing for the rest of our practice. Let's come back to downward facing dog. Curl those toes, lift those hips, ears between those arms, and let's take that right foot now and float it up to the sky and put a bend in our knee and open our hip. Good, holding it up there, just watch that those arms don't get soft. One of them likes to whenever we do this. And then begin just circling our right hip. Good. Keeping that knee bent for right now. We'll keep it right there. And then we're going to bring that right leg to stillness, stay open, but with our left elbow, drop it down to the mat. Be careful as we do that. Long right arm still, and then look up underneath our right armpits. Good. Feeling that entire right side of our body opening up right through our ribs and hips to the top of that quad and into our knee. Excellent job. Let's come right back onto both hands, lift up off that elbow, set both feet down, and take that left foot up off the ground. Now float it up to the sky, bending that knee, and then begin circling that left hip. Excellent job. Good. Then we'll find stillness. Keep that foot up there and that hip opened up. Right elbow comes down to the ground now. And take a peek under that left armpit, looking up toward the sky. Really opening up that left side through those ribs, down the top of the quad into that left knee. Good. Press up to both hands and bring both feet onto the ground, downward facing dog. Excellent. From here, take that right foot and step it to the outside of both of your hands for a runner's lunge. And just explore a little bit right here. Just explore. Maybe a little rock forward and back and side to side. Excellent. With that right hand, let's bring it up toward the sky for a twisted low lunge, reaching nice and high. And again, I'm just rocking and moving around, just finding spaces that maybe need to be stretched. Okay? So just find that. Just move around. Or if you find a spot, just sink into it for a moment. Excellent. Bring that right hand down, press back to downward dog. Left foot comes to the outside of both of those hands, and explore that runner's lunge for just a little bit. Good. Let's just start rocking in some circles here. Awesome. And then let's bring that left hand nice and high up toward the sky, twisted low lunge. I realize I'm not facing you, that's okay. And just reach nice and high with that. Good. Now we got the foundation for our next little flow. As we exhale, bring that left hand down, press back to downward dog, and then that right foot comes to the outside of the hands again. Inhale the right hand up toward the sky. Good. Exhale, bring it down. That same exhale presses back to down dog. And just begin alternating side to side. Runner's lunge, twisted low lunge on the inhale. Exhales, we'll bring the hand down and press back to down dog. Connecting that breath with the movement of our bodies. Excellent job. Pressing back. Good. And just keep going side to side, alternating those feet. Perfect. Good. We'll do that just a couple more times. Maybe one more time on the right, one more time on the left, and we'll all meet back on the exhale in downward facing dog. Good. Let's come up under our toes just a little bit, put a bend into our knees, drop them closer to the ground, and lengthen those legs, drop those heels down. Do that 3 more times. Inhale, exhale, bend those knees, inhale, lift up, and exhale, come down. Good. Inhale, nice soft on those knees. Really helps when we get up onto those toes as we bring those knees down. Excellent. All right, we need to give those hands and arms a little breather right here. As we find stillness in downward dog, walk those hands toward those feet and come upright in the back of our mat. Good. Nice big inhale all the way up and exhale to heart center. Now we're going to walk out to high plank and alternate side planks. Good. So inhale up, exhale and fold, and then continue walking those hands all the way out. Find high plank position, and either on our knees or toes, alternate. Lift that right hand to the sky, side plank, come back to plank, and alternate left hand to side plank. I'm just going to show one on my knee. Good. Walk those hands back to the feet, and the bend in those knees or straight legs. Inhale up, and exhale back to heart center. Do it again. Inhale up and exhale fold. Inhale up, flat back. Exhale, walk those hands all the way out to that plank position. Right hand up toward the sky, side plank. Exhale, left hand up to side plank. Good. Bring it down and walk those hands back to those feet and come right back up again. Inhale and exhale. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, reach for it, and exhale, fold. Inhale, up, flat back, and exhale. Walk those hands out to plank. And this time on side plank, hold that side plank for a little bit longer. And if you want some variation here, you can go to 5-pointed star and lift that top leg up, that right leg, or bring it up and over and find wild thing. Good, lifting those hips and heart up toward the sky. Good. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side, just at your own pace. We'll come to plank, and we'll find that side plank other side, just holding it one more time. Good, and find your variation here. I like wild thing, and so I'm going to go to that. And if wild thing's a struggle, I'm going to show you a way to get the wild thing later in our practice, which is pretty awesome. Good. Let's come back to plank position. Drop to those knees and find all fours. I'm just going to turn to this other side just because I think you'll see a little bit better. Okay. All right. So from all fours, let's find cat and cow. So we're going to inhale and look up, and then exhale and look down. Maintaining those shoulders right above those wrists and hands, and those hips right above those knees. Inhale up and exhale on down. Good. Nice. And as we inhale, squeeze those shoulder blades together, and then exhale, separate those shoulder blades from each other. Next inhale, drop the belly down, and inhale, squeeze, or exhale, squeeze those abs as we round our spine. Let's come to a moment of stillness. And now we're going to flip our hands around, taking just that left hand, circle it around, and then bring those fingertips pointing towards your left knee. And engage in that cat and cow now, this way. Inhale and exhale. Good. Give me 2 more with our hands this way. 1 set of fingertips forward, 1 back. Good. All right. And then put that left hand back. I'll just do a little fancy circle right there. And do the same thing on the other side. Sweep it back, right fingertips pointing towards our right knee. Excellent. And then 3 inhales and exhales. Okay. It's a little different way to kind of work the hands, work the wrists, work the forearms. Keep that right hand right where it's at, pointing towards your knees. Circle again that left hand, both fingertips facing those knees now. And then inhale, look up, and exhale, look down. Good. Now if it's feeling like way too much for those wrists, of course, ease back or maybe don't do it. And that's fine as well. Good. One more time on the inhale and on the exhale. Perfect. Let's just take up those hands and place them back forward. Awesome. Coming back to plank position. Let's go ahead and curl our toes and lengthen our bodies. And then exhale and lower all the way to the ground. Keeping our hands right there by our shoulders. And on our next inhale, let's lift up to Cobra Pose. Peeling up our shoulders and chest off the mat, keeping our pelvis right on the mat. Feet maybe shoelace side of our feet. Squeeze into our lower back, draw those elbows toward each other, and squeeze in those shoulder blades toward each other as well. Exhale and release on down. Another variation of this. Let's bring those hands forward now in front of our head. Thumbs up toward the sky. Let's lift those hands up and those feet this time. And then just begin pulling our elbows one at a time towards our ribs. Okay, exhale as we draw an elbow down. Inhale on the reach. And as we feel that elbow come on down towards our ribs, we might feel more of a squeeze on the side of our lats, the side of our back as we do this. Awesome. One more time on each side. Good. And then bring those hands right back by those shoulders and lower down. Awesome. Let's do that one more time, a different variation. Squeeze those elbows together, peel up off the ground just a little bit, pelvis still right there. Strong right hand, let's take that left hand now and just reach back and touch the back of our left hamstring. Keep pressing that right hand and breathe as best you can. Awesome. And then bring that left hand back. Take that right hand and touch the back of that right hamstring. Good. And then bring both hands back and release down. Whew. All right. That was a lot of work right there. Let's curl those toes and try as best to our ability to press straight up to a plank position. Straight up to that plank. And now ears between the arms, downward facing dog. Take a nice big inhale, look between those hands as we step forward, and then sink into those legs. Exhale, sweep those hands nice and tall, and exhale to heart center. All right, a couple variations of sun A's today. So we're gonna go down dog to a double single leg. I'll show you what that means. Inhale up, and exhale and fold. Inhale up to a flat back, nice long spine. Exhale, step back to plank and on to downward facing dog. From down dog, inhale that right foot up to the sky and set it down. And then inhale that left foot up to the sky, set it down. Good. Look forward, inhale, step forward. Exhale, bend those knees and sink into those legs and sweep those arms nice and tall. Exhale to heart center. We'll do that one more time. Inhale up and exhale and fold. Inhaling up to flat back. Exhale, step back to downward dog or plank to downward dog. Good. And then inhale that right heel up nice and high, three-legged dog. Set it down. Inhale that left heel up to the sky, three-legged dog. Set it down. Find some stillness. Look forward. Inhale and step or even hop forward towards the front of our mats. Bend those knees, exhale, and sweep up nice and tall. Let's do this now with just a single leg into a lunge. Inhale up and exhale and fold. Inhale up, flat back, and exhale, left foot steps back only. So just step that left foot back to a runner's lunge. Now right from this runner's lunge, we're gonna go right to a three-legged dog. So bring that right heel all the way up to the sky, three-legged dog. Set that right foot down, inhale the left heel up to the sky, and sweep it through runner's lunge, left foot forward. Good. On the inhale, step forward, exhale, bend those knees, and sweep those hands nice and tall, and exhale, heart center. Let's do that again. This time, other side. Inhale up, and exhale, fold. Inhale up, flat back, and exhale, right foot back only. Right foot back only. Runner's lunge, left foot. Let's go to three-legged dog. Left heel into the sky. Sweep it up nice and high. And then exhale, set that foot down. Inhale the right heel up to the sky and sweep it through runner's lunge, right foot forward. Good. On our next inhale, step forward, sink into those legs, and sweep up nice and tall, right back to heart center. Let's continue on with that, add some pace. Inhale up and exhale fold. Inhale up, flat back, exhale left leg back only, runner's lunge. On the inhale, sweep that right heel up toward the sky and set it down. Inhale that left heel and sweep it through runner's lunge, left foot forward. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, bend those knees and sweep up nice and tall. Exhale to heart center. One more time, other side. Inhale and reach for it. Exhale and fold. Inhale up, flat back, and exhale, right foot back. On the inhale, sweep that left heel up to the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, set that foot down. Inhale the right foot up. Then exhale, bring that right foot forward, runner's lunge. On our next inhale, step it forward. Exhale, bend those knees and sweep up nice and tall, right back to heart center. Let's rest those thumbs on our heart for just a moment. Let's find mountain pose, Tadasana. I'm going to turn and face towards you. Whew. Good. Lots of activity, lots of moving. It's just a moment for us to just re-engage back with our breath, finding that three-part breath, and just allow us to kind of find the moment for ourselves. Okay? We've built up some heat. We've taken our yoga practice to a point to where we've found some challenge. We've been enduring that challenge, and we're going to make it through. Oftentimes in yoga, on our mat, it says that the pose begins when you want to get out of the pose. Good. Let's bring our feet and knees together. Inhale, both hands up, nice and tall. Exhale, just the right hand down and lean over. Bringing our left fingertips and pointing them to the right side, and then pressing our hips to the left side of the room, and the weight of our body shifting into that left foot. Good, a deep stretch on the left side of our body through those ribs, down to those hips. Squeeze those glutes a little bit so the hips drive forward just a little bit more. Squeeze those legs together so you feel everything engaged together. Awesome. And now inhale, both hands up. Exhale, left hand down. Look at those right fingertips. Press the hips to the right side, weight of our body shifting into that right foot. And again, squeeze those glutes, hips forward. Squeeze those quads, okay? Engage those knees, those calves, and super strong feet. Everything is working together, okay? We build this posture, we build this pose on a strong foundation. Awesome. Inhale, nice and tall, and right back to heart center. All right. Let's get some a little deeper forward folds now. We're going to start just standing tall. Inhale those hands up and exhale. Just bring those hands past our hips. Exhale. And then inhale and begin hinging through our hips a little bit more. Inhale and exhale and hinge. Good. And then inhale all the way up and exhale and fold even deeper. Good, and then inhale all the way up and exhale and forward fold and stay down this time in that forward fold. From that forward fold, either finding the ground with those fingertips, finding the shins with those hands, or using that block to lift the hands or lift the floor up towards the hands. I'm going to turn to the side. And then we just engage in finding a little bit of rest and relaxation in this posture. Still a soft bend in our knees, but allow our shoulders to relax, our jaws to relax, space between our teeth, and the crown of our heads to fall. And if it's comfortable, maybe interlock our arms in a little rock side to side. And that creates just a little bit more center of gravity, so we feel just a deeper stretch into our hamstrings, glutes, and hips. All right, maintaining that nice deep inhale and exhale. Don't forget about our breath. Let's continue on with our full sun salutation A's. So release those hands if they're interlocked, and then drape those hands across those shins, resting them below our knees. Nice long spine on that inhale. And then exhale, set those hands down and step back to plank. You know, you can always go right from plank to downward dog or follow me here. Inhale, rock forward, shoulders in front of the fingertips. That protects those shoulders. And then a choice, stay on the toes or come down to the knees for a half push-up. Exhale. On the inhale, we look up to either cobra, still on those knees, or on upward facing dog on the shoelace side of those feet. On our next exhale, we press back to downward facing dog. On the inhale, we'll step or hop forward towards the front of our mat. Exhale, sink into those legs and sweep up nice and tall, exhaling to heart center. Let's do 4 more. Inhale and exhale and fold. Inhale up to flat back and exhale, hands down, step back. On the inhale, rock forward and do your half push-up, either knees or toes, your choice, to cobra, upward dog, again your choice. And then exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, step or hop forward, and then exhale, bend into those knees, sweep up nice and tall, and right back to heart center. Again, inhale, and exhale, and fold. Inhale up to that flat back, exhale, bring it back, plank position. Good, rock forward, or always remember, you can go right from that plank position, and then exhale to downward facing dog. On the inhale, we'll step forward, hop forward, sink into those legs, sweep it up nice and tall, reverse that swan dive, and exhale to heart center. Let's go 2 more. Inhale up, and exhale down. Inhale up the flat back, and exhale, step it on back. Rock and roll forward, protect those shoulders. Exhale, come down, and inhale, lift the crown of our head, and exhale, look back down, downward facing dog. Inhaling, step or hop forward, and bend into those knees. Inhale, up nice and tall, right back to heart center. Let's do that 1 more time, and we'll all meet in downward facing dog. Good, exhale, and then inhale up, flat back, and exhale, step back to plank. Vinyasa flow designed perfectly for you today because you've made the choices on how you move today. Let's find downward dog for just a moment. Whoo, all right. And then inhale, step or hop forward, bend those knees, sink into those legs, and sweep up nice and tall. And let's find heart center. Good. All right. We're going to use a long edge of our mat now, straddle position. So we're just going to step out to the side, okay, and just pick the side or move your mats if you want to that straddle position, and the best place where you can still continue to see where I'm at. Okay, toes pointing to the corners, so the feet are flared out just a little bit, and as we bend our knees toward those toes. Let's begin sweeping our hands up and tap those thumbs up top, and then circle those hands down, touch those pinky fingers on the way down. And as we come down knees to toes, we hinge through those hips a little bit more. Inhale nice and high, and exhale and fall. Good. Inhale up, and exhale, pinky fingers. All right, give me 2 more of those. You feel that? You feel that little stretch on the inside parts of those legs? That's intended. Okay, 1 last time. Inhale, and then exhale right to heart center. Right to heart center. Keeping those legs wide. We're going to interlock our hands now. Bring those hands behind our back. Let me turn around so you can see that. Interlocking those fingers, and we're going to draw them past our tailbone. If this is a challenge, just leave those hands right there on your hips. Okay? And so that draws our shoulders naturally down and lifts our heart just a little bit higher. Good. Staying in this nice, strong straddle position with our legs. Good. We're going to breathe in nice and tall, and keep that length of our spine, crown of our head to our tailbone as we hinge forward. Hinge on down. Still a little soft bend in those knees on the way down. And as we come on down, find that spot where the crown of the head will fall and the hands will float. And if it bothers your shoulders, let go of those hands. That's okay. But if not, let's just embrace it and feel. Feel the depth of where you're at in this posture. Good, stretch those hamstrings in our lower back. And now let's go ahead and release those hands and bring them down. We'll go into a little twist here. So the right hand is right below our face onto the ground. I like fingertips or cupcake hands, or pressing my hand onto a block or anything you have to bring that floor a little bit closer. Inhaling the left hand up toward the sky. And then just a little bit of shift of those hips to the left side so you feel a deeper stretch on the inside of that left leg. Good. And then we'll exhale and bring that left hand down. And inhale and bring that right hand up. Awesome. Good straddle, good depth of our breath, good free flowing breath even as we're twisting. Exhale, bring both hands down and stay in this forward fold position. We're going to walk our hands now over towards our right foot and then pivot that right foot so we can engage in a little bit of a hamstring stretch. A little bit of a hamstring stretch. So that leg is still long, soft bend into that right knee, and my hands are either to the ground or above or below my knee onto the leg or on that block. Okay? All right. Awesome. Nice gentle hamstring stretch right there. And now from this hamstring stretch, we're going to point those right toes right towards the head of our mat, deep bend in that knee. Back foot is about perpendicular now, pointing straight perpendicular away from that front foot, and let's float up to warrior two. Let's float up to warrior two. Good. All right, so with warrior two, a nice deep bend in those knees. Make sure those knees are pointing right towards our toes. And then a good tall posture, ears over shoulders over hips with our upper body. Nice long arms, soft elbows, but still strength in those arms. Very nice. Awesome. Let's go right from here to reverse warrior. Reverse warrior. So flip that front hand, exhale, and then inhale and lift that right hand up toward the sky, palm of the hand facing behind you. And we'll try a little something different with that left hand. Instead of leaving it on the leg or the tailbone, you're welcome to do that. But try to wrap it all the way around like a belt behind you and bring the palm of your hand facing your right knee. Okay, so you can see my fingers if you're looking out in front. So as we begin to hinge towards right angle, what that will do is it'll lock that hand into place and really open up that left shoulder. So if it doesn't feel good, take it nice and slow as we begin hinging forward. Let that hand pinch between your hip and your top of your leg, front hand on top of the leg, and that back hand is what's pinching right between the leg and the hip. Okay, so it really opens up that left shoulder. If that does not feel good, okay, then release that hand, right? And then find the depth. Now, if you want to get just a little bit more from here, you've had enough of this, you want to take that left hand and reach it up and then overhead and extend that right angle, that's perfectly fine too. Keep those nice strong legs and strong arms. Perfect. Good. Let's exhale right back to warrior two and then pivot those feet right back to that straddle position. Right back to that straddle position. Again, toes facing out to the side. Awesome. And we'll begin sweeping those arms again. Inhale up. And with our palms up to the sky, this time sun goddess. Exhale down. And inhale up. And exhale down. Knees still to toes, palms up. Good. And then squeeze those shoulder blades together. Draw those elbows back as we bring those arms out to the side, nice and wide. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. And we're going to find a little stillness in this sun goddess. Thumbs to the back of the room behind you. Draw those thumbs back just a little bit more. Squeeze those shoulder blades. All right. Good. A few more moments right here. Breathe it out. Exercise that self-discipline, that tapas. Feel the heat. The pose begins when we want to get out. Do we want to get out? Probably. All right, let's inhale, both hands up. Exhale, right to heart center. Awesome. Bring in both feet now and just pivot those toes in a little bit so the feet are like we're on skis but out of control. All right, long spine. Let's bring those arms out nice and wide and then hinge to those hips and keep that length through our spine. We're just going to stop halfway. Stop halfway. Okay, this means we're strengthening our core. We're engaging our core a little extra. Nice neutral spine, just looking straight down. All right. Good. Just imagining that tailbone sitting on the back wall. Feeling that dynamic stretch up the back of our legs. All right. And now we're just going to flow through a little twist. So our right hand's going to exhale down, left hand up toward the sky. And then exhale that left hand down, inhale that right. And then exhale that right and inhale the left. And just flow through this now using the pace of your breath to move your body. Exhale as we come to the floor, and exhale as we reach for the sky. Again, with those fingertips or that block to help keep our spine nice and neutral. One more time on each side here. And let us bring both hands down to the ground, stay in that forward fold position. We're going to begin walking now towards that left foot. And as we walk towards that left foot, keep that leg nice and long, soft bend in the knee, and find a hamstring stretch. Feet on the ground or above or below the knee on the leg. So it's almost like a super wide pyramid, but we're not in pyramid position. We're not worried about squaring up our hips and shoulders. We're just getting a nice hamstring stretch. Okay. Good stuff right there. We'll continue to walk those left toes now towards the head of our mat, and our right foot is now perpendicular. And then put a deep bend into that left knee so it's hovering above our ankle, and let's float up to Warrior Two. All right. Good. Now we know where we're at, right? Right back to Warrior Two, but on the other side. Left foot forward. Good tall posture here with our ears and shoulders and hips. We're not leaning forward or back. We're staying right in that midpoint. Excellent. Let's find reverse warrior. Exhale, flip that left hand and inhale. Lift that left hand up toward the sky. That right hand creeping around our back like a belt, and that right palm facing our left knee. Okay, so we're going to do that little bind, if you will, with that right hand. You know, only if it felt good. If it didn't feel good, of course, don't do it. Yeah? All right. So let's find that right angle now. Left forearm to the top of the leg. That right hand is right there between our leg and our hip. Okay, locking in that hand to open up that right shoulder a little bit more. And one nice thing about doing that is it prevents that shoulder from dropping down. Okay, because we're really focused on keeping that hand right there and stacking through those shoulders and those ribs. Okay, if you want a little bit something different, you can release that hand, bring it up overhead, and extend that right angle. Perfect. Whew. All right. Well, that looks good. All right. Let's come exhale right back to Warrior Two. Warrior Two. Very nice. And then we'll step forward. Let's come back to that straddle. And then let's step forward to the front of our mats. Let's just assume this side's the front of your mats, because that's where I'm hidden as well. Okay? So standing nice and tall, front of our mats. Good. Hands to heart center. Let's engage in another sun cell. So inhale up nice and tall, and exhale and to fold. Inhaling up to flat back, and exhale, step back to plank. Rock and roll forward. Good, and then exhale, come on down. Inhale, lift our crown, and exhale, face back down, downward facing dog. From here, let's float that right foot up toward the sky, and just draw that right knee towards our right elbow 2 times. Exhale it in, and inhale, and float the heel up. And again, exhale it in, inhale, float the heel up, keep that heel up, and then set just both feet down on the ground, downward facing dog. On the inhale, we're going to step forward towards the front of our mat. A little exhale, bend those knees, and inhale, chair pose. Thumbs up toward the sky, feet and knees together or feet and knees separated. I'm going to face you, stay right here. Okay. All right. So we're going to sink into this. This is one where it's going to bring about a little bit of a challenge, a little bit of tapas. Let's bring our hands to heart center as we twist this chair, left elbow to the outside of that right knee. Pressing those hands together, feel the fingertips and the palms pressing toward each other. And subsequently that left elbow pushing on the outside of that right knee. On the inhale, come back to center, and exhale, left elbow to the outside, right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Or just other side, how about that? Okay, me grasping the English language. Still working on it, still working on it. Good, and press those hands toward each other. Feel that right elbow to the outside of that leg. Awesome stuff. Good, inhale right back to center, stay right here. I've got to turn to the side, and I promise we're gonna lengthen those legs just a little bit. Good, so let's bring those hands back to our hips and now lengthen those legs. Good, and this is called airplane pose. So long legs, soft bend in those knees, and a nice long spine here. Awesome job. Whew. All right. From this nice long spine, we're going to try and keep those hips and shoulders square to the ground as best we can as we float our left leg up off the ground and into the sky behind us, warrior three. Finding that warrior three. Squeezing through the glutes. Standing just on that right leg. Those hands can be back or at heart center or extending forward. Extending forward. Now from here, we're going to move towards half moon. So I've got a block or the ground. I'm going to bring that right hand down to that block or that ground and then open up my hips to the long edge of the mat on my left side. Left hand up toward the sky, stacking through my shoulders, my ribs, and my hips, and pointing my left toes toward that left side. Trying to find, as best I can, the calm in this pose. But knowing that if I endure, if I find that discipline in this pose, on the outside of that, I might be a little bit stronger, and especially mentally tougher, getting through this. Good, keeping that left leg up off the ground, bring that left hand down. We're gonna go into a little twist here. And then bring that left hand either onto the block of the floor, right hand up toward the sky, twisted half moon. Awesome stuff. So opening up our heart now to the right long edge of that mat. That back foot may be parallel at best, but it doesn't matter how high or low that foot is. As we exhale, both hands down. Let's walk that left foot down towards the ground. We're going to open up warrior two. Warrior two. Good. Right foot forward, left foot back, and right back to warrior two again. Familiar territory. All right, so that front leg's probably screaming a little bit. Did a lot of work on that front leg. Let's lengthen that front leg and find triangle pose. Breathe in as much as we can, get as tall as we can, and exhale, reach as far forward as you can as the hips go in the opposite direction. Then we'll tip over. Resting our right hand above or below the knee on the leg, or find that block and lift the floor just a little bit higher. Okay, the objective with triangle is to try to avoid going too deep, trying to avoid pushing our bodies to the brink in this pose, finding something that feels just right and just good enough on our bodies here. Okay, if we feel that our left shoulder's like pointing down towards the ground and closing down, lift up a little bit higher so that our heart's lifting a little bit higher up toward the sky. Awesome job. Let's put a bend in that knee and find warrior two. Perfect. We'll bring those arms around and down, back to plank position. Excellent job. Press it back. Vinyasa flow. Meet back in downward facing dog. Good. All right. From here, left heel floats up nice and high into the sky. Three-legged dog. Two knee pulls on this side. Left knee, left elbow. Exhale. Shoulders come above those hands. Inhale. Ears between those arms. Heel up nice and high. One more time. Float that left heel up and hold it there. And then set both feet down, downward facing dog. On our inhale, step forward towards the front of our mat. Exhale, bend those knees. And inhale, you guessed it, chair pose. Chair pose. Feet and knees together or knees separated. And I'm going to stay sideways here so you can see this. We're going to go to awkward chair. So what that means is we're going to start peeling our heels up off the mat and standing on the balls and toes of our feet. Good. All right. Staying in awkward, if it feels okay for you, bring those arms back behind you. Start lengthening those legs. Awkward airplane. What in the world are we doing now? Oh my goodness, can we get there? And then whenever you've gotten to the point where you want to come out of the pose, which means it's just starting, but we'll go ahead and finish it. Set those heels down. Airplane pose. Now I'm going to shift over to the other side because we're going to do everything again that we just did. All right, so airplane pose, hands back, and this time, nice long spine here, right heel picks up off the ground, find warrior three. Trying to keep those hips and shoulders square to the ground as best you can. Back foot, doesn't matter how high or low it gets, but try and feel something into the lower back as you drive the heel up toward the sky. And find some calm through those shoulders, pulling it down and away from our ears. Good. Let's move toward half moon here. At your own pace, left hand's going to come down to the ground or that block, and right hand up toward the hip or the sky as we open up our shoulders and our ribs and our hips and point our right toes to the right side. Awesome. Mental strength right here. And also just allowing ourselves the patience to learn, the patience to maybe fall out of this. That's okay. Keeping that right foot off the ground, bring both hands down, and then add the twist. Right hand stabilizes, left hand lifts. And now our heart's pointing to the back, to the left side. Good. All right. So as we bring both hands down in that exhale, let's set that right foot down perpendicular to that front and float up to warrior two. Good. Just take your time. You have to move your feet. It wasn't perfect coming out of that. That dismount wasn't a 10 out of 10. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Let's find triangle pose. Good. So lengthen that front leg. Inhale as deeply as you can and then exhale. And as far as you can reach. When you can reach no further, tip over, triangle pose. Nice long front leg, soft bend in that left knee. Hand above or below the knee or find that block. And again, stack through those shoulders and our ribs. And on our inhales, remember those breaths, lift that back hip up toward the sky. Whew. All right. All right. Catching our breath, taking a moment of some stillness. All right. On our exhale, bend those knees, come back to warrior two. And then let's cartwheel those arms around and down. Step it back to plank position and go through a vinyasa flow. And we'll be back in downward facing dog. Awesome. From this downward dog, take that right heel and float it up toward the sky. Nice and high, and then bring that right foot forward towards the front of our mat. Back heel stays up, and let's find crescent pose. Crescent pose. So that back heel is up off the ground. Front knee is hovering right above the ankle. Hips and shoulders square to the front edge of your mat. Perfect. Now I'm going to face toward you. I'm going to face towards you. Just take a moment to adjust right there. Okay. So from here, we're going to add a little bit of some balance work here. So staying in this crescent pose, staying deep into the knees, right foot forward, left foot back. Okay, we're going to spring our hands down. We're going to act like we're just pushing to the right and pushing to the left. Like we're catching something here and throwing it to the left side. Okay, and it's okay to feel our hips rock side to side. Okay, a little catch right there. A little bit different way to practice some balance. Squeeze those abs, engage the core, little body awareness here. What are we feeling? What are we feeling? Okay, all right. Let's go one more time each side. One more to the right, one more to the left. Perfect. Come back to center, and then we're going to draw that left knee up and hang on to that left knee. Good, so stand tall and hold that left knee. All right, from here, a little hand to toe balance posture, taking that left hand and either supporting it behind that left knee or a toe lock, peace fingers onto that toe. You can also, again, just lengthen that leg and still hold on to the knee. So just straight forward, we're only staying with the left hand and left foot this time. Okay, we've done some revolved in recent time, and so that's why we're staying right here. Okay, so straight forward, and then maybe draw that right hand down for some counterbalance as we bring that left foot to the left side and open up. Okay, all right. Whew. Again, you can be holding still onto the outside or inside that left leg with the hand knee bent and opening that hip. Now from here, let's try and keep that left leg off the ground and find tree pose. So hips already opened, find that spot above or below the knee, or toes on the ground, heel above the ankle, and find your version of tree. Oh, there we go. That was an interesting way to climb a tree, wasn't it? Okay, hands at heart center. Oh, we can bring those hands way up high, overhead, or create some branches out to the side. Whew. All right. Finding our calm in this posture. It's okay to wobble. It's okay to stumble. We're learning. We're growing. Find that grace and cut yourself some slack for not having perfection. As we release out of tree, we're going to find pyramid pose. So we'll release that left leg and just step back slightly, both feet on the ground, heel to toes. Lengthen that spine nice and tall, and then exhale and hinge through those hips. Hips and shoulders square to the front of the mat. I like to just crawl down the leg a little bit and either find the floor or bring that floor closer to me with that block or whatever you have to do so. It could be soup cans, okay? Whatever, it could be a pillow off the couch, whatever works for you. And then just check in on those hips, make sure they're still square, that left hip, maybe it needs to come forward a little bit more, and that we're still being gentle on that right side. And this is one of those poses where we can just sink in. Drop the crown of our head, like that forward fold, and breathe, relax our jaw. Whew. Good, we'll take a few breaths right here, allowing ourselves just to sink in. Very nice. Let's take one more inhale and exhale. And then we'll place a deep bend in that right knee. Set those hands down. Press back to plank position. Let's do one more vinyasa flow, shall we? Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, come down. Inhale, look up, and exhale, press back. Downward facing dog. Good. From here, float that left heel up to the sky. Bring that left foot forward to the front of our mats. Back heel stays up. Crescent pose. Crescent pose. Good. Front knee to those toes. Sink into it. Hips and shoulders square to the front edge of our mats. Shoulders relaxed and sink in. And now let's probably challenge ourselves with that side-to-side balance. Again, maybe catching something on the left side this time and throwing it to the right. Good, a little side to side. Then you might feel your body shifting side to side, offsetting the motion in order to keep us in balance. Okay. Let's go one more time left, one more time right, and then a knee lift on that right side. So big move on that left side. Just hold on to that right knee. Use that right hand to support the outside of that right leg. Again, as an option, you can lengthen that leg and hold it right there. Okay, or toe lock. Right hand, right foot. Holding right there, front and center for a moment. And then whenever you're ready, externally rotating that hip. Bring that right foot out to the right side. Maybe lengthening that left arm to find that counterbalance. Good. Breathe. Find the calm. And then we're going to move from here to tree pose. So find your version of tree. Whoop, I tap my toe and see. I cut myself some slack, a little patience. It wasn't perfect. Oh my goodness. It'll be all right. I'm going to move back a little bit. I think I'm chopping my head off on the screen. There we are. That's much better. All right. I don't want to chop my head off on the screen. That wouldn't be good. Find your version of tree pose. Very nice. And then on our next exhale, just gently bring that right foot down, step it back. Pyramid pose. Square up those hips and shoulders. Breathe in nice and tall, long spine. And then hinge. Hinge through those hips. Good. Keeping the hips and shoulders square, long spine as we come down, and then drop the crown of your head and round through that spine. Settle in and breathe. Settle in and breathe. Very nice. All right. So we come out of this, let's put a little bend in our knees, bring those hands to the floor, and just step back to plank, and then drop down to our knees and come to all fours. Come to all fours. Okay. So from all fours, just a little bit of cat and cow. Let's re-engage right there as we inhale, look up, and then exhale and look down. Good. Just a couple more. Squeeze those shoulder blades. Drop those bellies down. Squeeze through those abs. Separate those shoulders. And just loosen up. Good. And then a little cat dancer right here. So we're going to take that left heel and float it up toward the sky. Now, if you're unable to do this, there's nothing wrong with you, but here's what you can do. If you're unable to do it, just press that heel up and pulse the heel. Otherwise, take that right hand and bind on to that left foot or ankle, and then press that foot or ankle into the hand to get a deeper stretch up top and through those hips and quads. Good. And then we'll do the same thing other side. From those all fours, bending that right knee. And again, either pulse the heel, keep it going, squeeze through those glutes and lower back, or reach back, grab onto that top of that foot or ankle, and then press that foot or ankle into the hand. Very nice. All right, from here, let's come on down. We'll press back to downward dog for just a moment, moving towards half pigeon. We'll float that right heel up nice and high to the sky, and then draw the right knee towards the right wrist and the ankle towards the left wrist across our mat. And then bring that left leg 6 o'clock behind us, shoelace side of that foot. And then settle into pigeon pose. Pigeon pose. A couple options on pigeon is coming down nice and deep. Okay, maybe taking a block and filling that space between our right glute and the hip so it helps keep our hips square to the mat. And just playing around with that back leg. The more it kind of crawls behind us and closer to our right side, the more you're going to feel. Okay, if this is not lovely on the right knee, then we can come onto our back for a figure four version of that. Much gentler for the knee, same stretch. Good. I'm just going to turn around. And then another option, if you want, is queen pigeon. So you're welcome to stay right here where you're at, or put a bend into that left knee, reach back, left hand, and bind onto that back leg, queen pigeon. Now, some of you might be able to do king pigeon, which is reaching both hands overhead and binding onto that foot. Not going to happen with me today. All right, and that's quite all right. This is me. This is my practice. And king pigeon might be your practice. Or just normal pigeon. That's fine. Good. All right. So let's come on down, both hands. We're going to press back to downward dog and then single leg dog. Circle that right hip just to loosen up through that hip. Excellent job. Same thing, other side now. Left heel floats up to the sky. Left knee comes to the left wrist. Ankle across our mat. Towards the right wrist. Again, right leg now, 6 o'clock, shoelace side of that foot. And settle in to your version of pigeon. Now, like me, you might have one side looser than the other. So this side is the side that's really tight for me. Really tight for me. So I lift a little bit higher. I make some choices. I make decisions about where I place my body. Okay, knowing not to set expectations that both sides should be the same because they're not. And that allows me to make intelligent choices so that I don't push this side too far. Because when I do, then I end up wobbling and hobbling the next couple days because I've pushed my body to the brink. That's right, it can happen in yoga. There's injuries in yoga. Not necessarily an injury, just not a good feeling, okay? As I often say, if it doesn't feel good, don't do it, right? Good. Remember that queen pigeon if you want to. Put a bend in and reaching back. Almost tried to reach with the wrong hand there, so make sure you're reaching towards the outside. Excellent. And now let's come back. Let's come back, both hands down. Let's float that left leg up and circle that hip just to loosen up through that hip. All right. Very nice. Let's go ahead and find a seated position onto our mats. Okay? And we'll initially start with both legs out. Both legs out. Bring our toes toward our shins. Breathe in nice and tall. And then exhale, forward fold. Forward fold. Reach. Reach as far as we can. As if we're trying to reach past those feet. Whether we can or not, it doesn't matter. Okay, and then either stabilize at the feet or ankles or shins, or just rest those hands beside the legs. And still, while we're here, we're thinking about the crown of the head passing past our feet, as opposed to bringing our nose toward our knees. That's not the objective here. We're not trying to jam our head down. We're trying to lengthen our body out forward past those feet. And then subsequently, think about that tailbone going in the opposite direction, so that our body is passing away from each other in opposite directions. Okay, does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. All right. Now let's gently come out of this and bring both hands, fingertips facing towards our feet. We're going to go into inclined plank to begin with. Okay, so from inclined plank, keep those legs long and strong. Flex those quads, fingertips toward the feet. Lift our hips up, shoulders stay above those hands. Squeeze into our lower back and our glutes. Now a little heart opener. Stretch right here. You might feel something on those biceps. Make sure those hands are pointing towards those feet, okay? Those fingertips are pointing towards those feet. Exhale, come down. All right. And now let's put a bend in our knees, feet flat on the floor, feet about hip distance apart. Same idea with those hips, tabletop. And lift those hips up, knees hovering now right above those ankles, fingertips still pointing towards those feet. Good. All right. Get squeezed into that lower back. This is a really good heart opener now. And now, exhale, release down. So let's combine inclined plank and tabletop. Keep that left leg bent, feet flat on the floor, and lengthen that right leg, pinky toe side of the foot on the floor. Right hand now switches around, either fingertips pointing straight behind you or to the side. Left hand is going to reach up to the sky. We're going to wild thing, okay? Press into that leg, lift those hips, and lift up. That right shoulder should be right above that hand, okay? And if you found wild thing, now we can float through this. Exhale, dip down, tap those hips to the ground, and inhale, lift up. Press through that left foot and leg. Exhale down, and inhale, lift. Perfect. Give me two more, just like that. Because that other side's getting jealous. That other side of our body's getting jealous. It's like, I want some of that. I want wild thing on that side. All right, have some patience. We'll get there. We'll get there. Come on down. Good. Right knee bends, foot flat on the floor. Left leg lengthens, pinky toe side of that left foot. Left hand on the ground, fingers to the side or behind you, okay? Right hand lifts, and then bring those hips up for the ride. Inhale, reach up overhead if you want to, or straight up. And then add that little flow, that little dip. Exhale as we come down, inhale as we lift. Good. A lot of core activity here, a lot of body awareness, a lot of stability. When you're done with a total of 4, we'll come back down to the floor. Excellent seated position. All right. That was awesome, wasn't it? Okay, little wild thing. Little flip the dog, flip the dog. Okay, half boat. half boat. Both knees bent right here, heels on the ground, hands to the side if you want to. Right leg extends, point those toes toward the sky and point those toes toward our shins. And then nice long spine. Now hands or fingertips can be on the ground, or we can raise those hands up, palms up toward the sky, and keep that long spine. Whew, all right. Little half boat, right? And then we'll bring that right foot down, and then bring that left leg up. And we've got to complete the rest of the equation. We can't just do a half boat on one side, and that left leg got jealous too. Okay, so we had to make it happen over there. All right, both feet down. Pull forward just a little bit, seated child's pose. And I think you know what's coming next. We gotta get that full boat going. Now we can keep those knees bent as we find a little balance on our tuchus right there. We can lengthen those legs and bring those arms out nice and wide. Now keep that boat afloat, don't let it sink. Just keep those toes up there, nice and high, okay? All right, now it's all relative, what high is for you versus me or anybody else. And so you find that boat that best works for you. Excellent. As we take a nice big exhale and rock forward, again seated, child's pose. All right. Take a moment, catch our breath. I'm going to turn a little bit toward the center. Knees still bent right here. And we're going to find butterfly pose. So just bring the soles of our feet together and let those knees drop toward the floor. Okay. So as they drop towards the floor, you can draw your heels in just a little bit more towards your glutes, okay? Draw your heels in. It's okay to grab onto those feet and even just provide a little bit of pressure onto those legs. A butterfly we can get into this multiple ways. First thing first is I want us to lengthen our spine and sit as tall as we can. Okay, and then use that breath. Then with our knees, I want to see if we can open our hips up as much as we can, drawing those knees down to the ground as far as those knees will go. And then begin rocking forward a little bit, hinging forward. Now if we need to cup our hands and come to the pinky toe side of our feet, and cup our feet to do that, to give a little bit of effort right there, that's fine. And then when we found that that's about as far as we can go, then drop the crown of your head and run through your spine and sink in. And you can even use those elbows if you want, press them in to your calves, your shins. Just keep those knees wide open as best you can. Good. Now keeping those feet right here and where they're at butterfly pose, let's lift out of this. We're going to add a little twist. So we're going to bring our right hand behind our back and our left hand to the outside of that right knee. Stay tall as we exhale and rotate. Nice deep breaths as we rotate. We'll stretch into our lower back. And you'll even feel it on the inside of those legs as those feet continue to press toward each other. Good, exhale back to center. And then same thing, other side. Right hand to the outside of that left knee. Good, and push on that left knee. So it pushes that left foot into that right foot and still opens up that right side just a little bit more. And again, just stay nice and tall. Good. All right, a couple more poses to get us through this morning, this afternoon now. All right, so the legs at the wall or shoulders stand. So we're going to come onto our backs, grab on behind our knees, interlock our ankles, and roll onto our backs. Now, if you have a block, that's great. If you don't have a block, just follow my lead as well. So initially, legs at the wall, we can place that block under those hips and then float those feet up toward the sky, soft bend in those knees, and just let those feet float there. It's a restorative pose. Okay, if you don't have that, you can still give it a shot by just taking those hands and placing them under your hips, okay? Palms down to the ground, probably best idea there. And then bring those feet up. That still elevates your hips and tips them up so you get good alignments. Now from either one of these, block on the ground or hands under those hips, We can float up to a shoulder stand, so lifting those hips just a little bit higher, maybe add a little bit energy to rock up. And then we use those hands and place them right where our kidneys are, so to speak, and then support our lower back. And then bring those feet up nice and tall, up toward the sky. Now the thing here is if you get those feet up there, you want to make sure you're just looking straight forward. You don't want to look side to side, okay? And we want to be very careful in terms of how much pressure we're putting on our neck. So wherever you're at right now with those feet up, try and keep that same angle on your neck as we go to plow and bring those feet above the crown of our head. Okay, plow's not smashing the rest of our body onto our neck. Plow is just lengthening those feet above our head, and you're probably feeling it more through the hamstrings than anything. So if you feel that you're carrying the load on the shoulders and neck, then kind of lift up a little bit more through those hips and release that angle on your neck. Make those legs long. Okay, we can also play around with one leg up toward the sky and one leg forward. Little splits in the sky. Nice inversion, good for our heart rate, good for our heart health. Both of these, either legs at the wall or shoulder stand. Now if you're in shoulder stand and you're ready to come out of it, place those hands onto the ground and slowly roll out of it one vertebra at a time, or vertebrae at a time, however you say it. Squeeze those hands and come down nice and slow. And then we'll find Shavasana, our final relaxation pose. As we find Shavasana, we're just going to sprawl out onto our ground, onto our mats, maybe palms up toward the sky if that's comfortable, relaxing those hands, let those feet drape out, and let those eyelids rest gently on our eyes. With our breath, just a natural, everyday breath. Abandon that 3-part breath or any breath that we have to think about too much. Just something nice and relaxing. And then find your 100% commitment on this pose, on your mat, and just feel like you're sinking in to the ground that's beneath you. I'm going to dim the lights. Okay. And let me see, our Shavasana song. We have to find it. I forgot what it was. Oh yes, it's called Never Give Up. It's called Never Give Up, which goes very well with our theme today. Okay, third from the bottom if you're following along on the playlist. Very nice. So as we find this relaxation, let's find stillness of our bodies. As we find that stillness, as we find that restful state, we can feel rest assured that we practice the principle of tapas today, self-discipline. We felt some heat and we endured. We practice this on our mats. And things that we practice on our mats can directly relate to things that we do off our mats, knowing that we're building mental, physical strength, knowing that we are able to persevere and hang on, to be able to work our way through, to forgive ourselves for any mistakes that we perceived to have made because we weren't perfect on the mat, because that's okay. Allowing ourselves a little grace to learn along the way. And of course, affording ourselves the patience as we move along our journey. Now, I've got 3 closing messages for us today. And 2 of them are from the great Bill Withers. If you were using my playlist, I put a couple songs in from Bill Withers today. What a great artist. And I think you'll find that with his quotes. So our closing messages. First one. How we climb up the mountain is just as important as how we get down the mountain. And so it is with life, which for many of us becomes one gigantic test followed by one big gigantic lesson. And in the end, it all comes down to one word, and that's grace. It's how we accept winning and losing, good luck and bad luck, and finding the light in the darkness. And a couple thoughts from Bill Withers. We can't get to wonderful without passing through being all right. And the final one. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. I honor the love and light in you, as it's also within me. Namaste.